From the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery in Nashville, Tennessee, it's Gardening Inside Out, a podcast with highlights from our Saturday morning live show, answering all your gardening questions, giving you plant advice for any space in your life. Let's start the show.
Hey, y'all. It's Caroline.
Hey, y'all. It's Austin.
And hey, it's Tyler.
We're here. We're back. We're at it again. Stuff is growing.
It really is. What a beautiful day. Here in Nashville, Tennessee, we're about to be sunny, 75.
Yes, we are. Legs are out today.
Everybody's in the shorts.
Shortened.
Shorts are shortened. Yeah, they are.
It's looking great. And you know what? All my plants are just going crazy, except for my Macala Japanese maple. Still sitting. But you know, I talked to Ryan, one of our landscape specialists here at the nursery. Fantastic. He dwells in the Bates Stream. His Macala also just started to crack. So, you know, Austin, I don't think it's dead.
That's certainly a late bloomer this year.
But there's hope. Ryan gave me hope today.
False hope.
Stop it.
All right. Other things are waking up, though. Big time.
Like what?
Well, what else?
You don't know what else is waking up?
Well, tons of things are already...
Your sun King Aurelia is probably pushing, finally. Mine is up, and I can see it from the road.
Good point. No, mine's not necessarily... Well, I say that. It's like 4 inches up.
That's still up. 4 inches is a lot.
And it is in a cold spot in the yard, so that's fine. It's looking great. I love that plant so much. I sold one yesterday to a guest who listens to us, actually. Thank you. Carol. Yeah,
shout out to Carol. Carol came in. We got to meet her. We got to talk with her, and she got crossvine, baptisia, and Sun King Aurelia.
She did. All 3 of those that we all love. Tyler, what's going on over there?
Oh, I'm just thinking about how it's so rewarding to be able to sit on my patio and see everything just flushing up. My yarrow, my baptisia is probably like 6 inches off the ground right now. Just coming out.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so late. Mine is up and blooming. All of them.
Oh, mine too.
No.
And you're in town.
Yeah. Maybe it's because we mulched that area. And so it was, it made it a little more sleepy because it had to push through the mulch, but it's coming up now. Milkweed I have a seedless grape that I thought totally died, but grapes are so hard. They're so hard to kill.
Yeah.
So it just sprouted a new sprout directly from the base. Wisteria is coming up, and that's kind of in a shadier spot against my fence. My lilac is leafy. It's not blooming yet.
My lilac bloomed already.
Mine it's north shaded by my fence.
Yeah, mine bloomed probably about a month ago. It was all budded up in the snow. Then it bloomed.
It's not in ideal conditions at all, but it is a survivor, and it's just chilling out in this little kind of shady area.
Well, nice. It sounds like your garden's all up and awake.
Yes.
Opening those sleep time eyes.
Some things I wish wouldn't be as awake right now are the bananas, which are insane. And so I've been growing these bananas for like 8 years now, and this is Musa Bosju. It's a hardy fiber banana, and we sell it at the nursery. And they have literally gone so out from the center now that there is just this mass, this like root mass. And some places have like caved in from where there's just mulch and there are like cavities. But I've been digging on this central mass of the banana, and it is insane to me how big it is. It's probably like a foot or more tall by like 3 feet wide.
So they've gone bananas.
Your bananas have gone bananas.
They've gone bananas.
Are insane. They're a great screen.
It's just so weird though that no new banana growth comes from this big giant mass.
I mean, that's how it happens a lot though. Because I cut them back here in the greenhouse, and I've had some at my house that I've cut back. Sometimes they come back from that mass, but I would say like 20% of the time they do. The rest of the time, they just get pups. It's like you killed the mom, and all of her kids are like coming up.
But it's still alive. It's still fibrous. Like it's almost semi-woody. Like when you hack into it, it's like I don't know how to describe it. Like a coconut or something,
Well, like Austin said, your bananas is bananas.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm trying to dig all that out, dig the pups up, and actually realign the bed because it's gotten too big now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to, once I dig that out, I'm going to plant the pups back into where they were to reset the grove.
Okay. Reset the grove.
So if y'all are growing bananas, listen up. It will get wily unless you have a lot of room for it to spread. And you might have to do that. It's the same thing as if you have to like divide a grass or something too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or like canna lilies or something.
Yeah, I divided my Easter lilies. I was just talking to Austin about that.
Yeah,
because it was time to move them, divided them, and now they're all budded up, looking happy, getting ready to bloom. Hey, Austin did something out of the ordinary on Sunday.
I did?
Yep. You bought black petunias.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Look at you.
Austin's going God.
No.
Yes.
Are you doing black and pink?
Yes.
It's going to be so good. When I saw you walking up through the garden center with those 5 pots of black petunias, I said, are those for me? And you said, no, they're for me, Caroline. And I said, well, that makes me even happier.
It is just about to be petunia planting season for me. Okay? I got the Misty Lilac petunias, the go-to goat of petunias. They're wave petunias, okay? So I just pop them in the empty spots in my bed, and they just fill up and swell up and look dainty and pink and beautiful, and I love them. But Caroline's right. I planted some Calibrachoa, some million bell petunias underneath my ginkgo tree, and I'm going to pop some black in around them.
Yeah, you are. You're gothing it up a little bit, and I love it.
I even thought about going a little white in there, too.
No.
You got to have white.
No.
You kind of do.
White and black and pink?
That's too much.
I don't know.
You're going for a circus theme if you go that far.
Didn't say circus.
I wouldn't say it's a circus.
I would.
I would say
loud.
It's kind of Neapolitan in a way.
It's going to be neo-fantastic. I may not go white. I don't know. I'm about to fertilize
I'm excited about it.
I'm really trying to imagine this because I want, you'd like to do things in lines. So I don't know if you're doing clumps, masses, or lines, but.
No straight lines with this one. It's up underneath a ginkgo tree, a little dwarf ginkgo that's super cute.
You're American?
Uh-huh. So I'm just, not going random. Like there's a thing.
Are you doing
You always have a pattern.
You doing like a bullseye?
Ish. Yes.
That's cool.
That is kind of cool. It's the interior is more of the pink, and then I got the black on the exterior. And it's all going to swell together and be beautiful.
It is. It's going to be stunning.
I'm about to give them their first round of fertilizer. Them getting them, you know what they getting?
What?
They getting that tripled up 20.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay.
You're going wild.
That liquid tripled up 20. It's the red water, actually. It's not even blue.
You're getting them juiced.
Juicy. Oh, can't wait. I needed them to latch in a little bit. Still haven't planted the black ones yet. Hopefully
you got to get those in the ground now. You got to go home. We got to finish this intro. Then you got to get out of here. Take a long lunch.
There's no way he's leaving Bates.
Them.
No.
You know he wouldn't. You know I'm kidding. Austin would never leave. You might miss something.
I know.
You might miss a delivery.
Miss the next truck.
Might miss some drama.
You might miss some drama. There's never drama here.
Did we get that Isley yet?
No.
Today.
Maybe today. We'll see. They had to stop off in Indiana before they're coming here.
Yeah. But Isley will be here soon. And I know the staff is excited. Customers are excited. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll get another Japanese maple. Mm-hmm. But I am pretty mad at my Makawa right now. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
Yeah. It's okay. It'll wake up.
It will.
Maybe.
It'll wake up. It will wake up. And let's wake y'all up. But I know we haven't lost you. But we'll go ahead and go into this week's broadcast. Josh Carey and David Bates will be in your ears, as well as the three of us.
Mm-hmm. It was a good one.
It was. We talked a lot about stuff.
We did.
You'll learn a lot.
All right. And I'm sure everybody's got questions right now. Like all the
so many questions.
I bet we have a lot today.
Y'all, let's get to them.
Let's do it.
We've talked about the temperature dip a little bit, but we do have a question about the upcoming weather. Will my peppers be okay the next few days with lows in the 40s?
Yeah, they'll probably be fine.
I think they'll be great.
They really will, yeah. I mean, I'm sure you got them planted in the ground already. If you had them in pots, I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt to run them in your garage for the night. But, like, if they're already in the ground, I'm not seeing, I don't think we're going to actually get any frost or anything. Like, maybe here a little bit because we get a little colder here. But in the city, I don't think you've got any problems.
It's more, for warm season vegetables, it's a lot more a soil temperature issue than air temperature. So, cooler air temperatures in the overnight is really not that big of a deal. If your soil temperatures have sufficiently warmed up where they're approaching 60 degrees, the nighttime temperature really has no effect on the soil temperature. In an overnight, a single night of it. Yeah. And we've had this past week, we've warmed things up a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I don't think you're going to see any damage.
Well, good, because I went ahead and planted my stuff earlier than I usually do.
Yeah, so you're usually a May person.
I'm usually a Mother's Day person, or after my birthday, which is coming up if you want to buy me a gift.
There's that.
But I went ahead and put them in the ground.
Shameless plug.
I know. I always need more plants. All right, we did get a live question in from Steve. My grandson soaked a bare root rose we planted for them. The soil is waterlogged. Should we dig it up and replant?
Well, what a good, waterlogged, I'm assuming waterlogged all the time, probably not a good idea. I wouldn't think. If it's not draining, we don't really want that. Roses are fairly thirsty creatures, but they're not like sit in water all the time creatures. Like that's when fungal issues arise, and even death can occur with root rot, which is what we don't want. So I would say find a better location. That would be what I would say.
They have a second part to that question. How much sun does an Alaskan cedar need?
As much as you can throw at it. Yeah, pretty much. Honestly, I say that, but it probably could take some afternoon shade. The weeping Alaskan cedar, hence the name Alaskan, it can take it very, very cold. Yeah. So we get a little hot here for them. Not that they can't live. I've actually seen really nice weeping Alaskan cedars here. I saw a 14-footer not too long ago. And it was in the full sun. If it was in a protected area, like late in the day, had some shade, I would say that would be still totally fine for that plant. But we still want to achieve at least 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, possibly even desirable.
Yes, exactly.
I have one, and I love it. It's one of my favorite plants, and it's in full all-day sun up to sundown, and it is doing great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that plant does well here.
All the time. It looks really good. Everybody needs one. Weeping Alaskan cedar. Add it to your landscape if you have the space.
They are cool, and they don't even need like a crazy big space. Like it can get large, but large and somewhat thin. Like so, it can handle that spot that's a little tighter than you think. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a very great plant. Look great in the snow. All right, best all-natural way to get rid of pests, more specifically slugs and hornworms.
Hornworms. The most natural way by far is to just use your hands and get rid of them. Yeah. Hornworms are hard to see, but when you do find them, you're like, whoa, there it is. It's huge. And they're typically on tomatoes and peppers, your warm season Solanaceae family plants, and they hide very well. But if you spot them, literally, y'all just pluck them off. You want the most natural way? Pluck them off.
Yeah, if you have a black light, do they glow in the dark?
They can be.
The hornworms do,
shiny.
not the slugs.
Yeah, not slugs. Yeah, slugs. What's the beer method with slugs?
The beer with slugs, little caps.
Well,
they go into it.
Depending on who you ask, it's called wasteful.
Yeah, this guy.
That one that got warm over there. Get that one.
I would say it's fair to say that slugs can't handle their alcohol.
No.
So if you put a little, like a mayonnaise jar top out with. Put a little beer in there, and they'll get over in there, and they won't get out.
Don't put it right up next to the plant, though. Get it a little bit away from it, so you can draw them away from the tree a little bit, and then they fall off the edge of the.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go right in. Kind of sad sounding, but so let's move on so no one gets sad with me. Best companion plants for tomatoes, more specifically to help with pests. We're still on the pest topic.
Okay.
The pest train, if you will.
Companion planting is something that's talked about, and I think that it can be helpful, but I don't know how helpful it actually is with like controlling pests. Okay, some of those companion plants will still get pests on them, so you might have pests on them, and then you might have some on your tomatoes as well. It's going to happen probably both ways. The most common, I think people use marigolds usually, and I don't know if that's like. What do you think? Is that for any reason, or just
looks good?
Maybe somewhat repulsive, but. If you have spider mites as a problem, then it doesn't matter. No. So I don't know that there's something that really does an effective job. You could, you really pretty much need to rely on, like you say, either a manual method, picking things off by hand, or using an organic neem oil, insecticidal soap, diatomaceous earth, things that are not going to be in any way injurious to the fruit and therefore but it will be quite toxic to the pest.
The diatomaceous earth is another one for the slugs, though, right? Yeah,
that could be used. Yeah, that could be used as well if you don't want to waste your beer.
Yeah, I don't.
And
Also too, scouting. We use this word in the horticulture industry, scouting. We scout for insects and pests, and we have to know what we're looking for. So if you have hornworms every year, if you can know what a hornworm egg looks like, then you can scout that plant. Look at the back sides of the leaves. Really look at it. And take care of that problem before they ever even
They'll
hatch.
be lined up on there.
Yeah, I mean, if you can find the eggs and pop those first, then you don't have the issue later.
And
So
if you see a hornworm with the eggs on it, you don't want to kill that one necessarily. You want to take it and put it in your neighbor's yard, and because there's a wasp that actually infects
parasitic
them.
wasps, yes, they lay eggs on top of hornworms, and that's Google that image. The parasitic wasps on.
Don't Google that.
Yes, Google it. They need to know. The people need to know. You got to leave those eggs on that hornworm because those are going to hatch, and they're going to make more parasitic wasps that naturally help you out. Using a really harsh chemical sprays inside your vegetable garden kills good bugs too.
Yes,
we don't want that. There's good bugs and bad bugs, and those good bugs help us out.
So know your bugs.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's very helpful.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bugs out there, though, so
There
get
are.
ready.
This
But
is the bug guy next to me.
love the bugs.
Me too.
And hate them.
Yes.
Love, hate the bug.
Golly.
Let's talk lavender. Best lavender for the South. Phenomenal, Spanish, or English lavender. I have Phenomenal planted. I put Enlighten by Earth Mix underneath. It's an expanded shale to help with drainage. And mine is gorgeous right now. It's actually about to bloom. It's not blooming yet. I planted it last spring. It looked great through the winter, got a little bit dry, but it looked fantastic in the moonlight. And it just flushed back out. I didn't even cut it back just to see what would happen. And it's like a tiny little shrub. So Phenomenal would be my go-to.
That's my go-to. I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. And I almost put it on my list this morning, but I haven't actually seen it blooming yet. It's up and budding.
I just saw buds because I was running by and I thought it was grass coming up in between my lavender plant. And I almost started weeding it. And then I was like, oh no, those are the blooms coming up. I don't want to do that. But y'all, putting some kind of rocks or something to help with drainage underneath is the only way that I've been able to actually grow it and get it to.
And if you've ever
come
spent
back.
time in Mediterranean climate countries, the lavenders are just naturally adept at growing there. You really don't have to do anything, and they look fabulous. But we get a little too cool, a little too wet, and it's very difficult to replicate those kind of conditions. Now, there are cultivars that they have adapted and developed over the years that are a lot more resilient, but they're never going to look here like they look, in España.
That's right.
But improving that mix, like you said, that gravelly soil mix
Right.
that's high and dry, that's what lavender wants.
That is what it
Add
wants.
some Enlighten to it, and make
I
it
love
work.
Enlighten. I use it for everything.
It
We'll
is
talk
good.
about that a little bit later
Yes.
when we talk Earth Mix. We've got a live question on YouTube. My neighbor has several dead trees with lots of little boreholes in them. Assuming it's a beetle or something, how can I protect mine so they do not get the same thing?
There was a follow-up question to that.
There was, but they're not sure what trees they are.
Okay. This is probably ambrosia beetle. This is the season for ambrosia beetle.
We've had some discussions this week about that.
We've had
haven't
to,
we?
yes, we have, and it's a lot of people are dealing with this. I'm no different. I've got a mimosa tree that is littered with ambrosia beetle, and it is so sad.
Heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. I love that tree. It's a dark leaf cultivar.
You did love it.
I did. It's dead.
Yes.
I mean, that's the thing about ambrosia beetles is that there's a number of beetles that we call ambrosia beetles that are actually different species. Ambrosia that's the term for the fungus that they present into the plant, okay?
That's
into
what
the
actually
vascular
kills.
system. That's what kills. It's the fungi that stops the transport system of all nutrients and water. So what's going to happen is your tree leaves out, looks pretty in the spring, 2
Boom.
weeks later, crash. And it's within a day. I mean, whenever it happens. And that's that fungi that's stopping all of the water transport, all of the nutrient transport.
Dig it up and destroy the tree.
Burn it. Seriously, burn it because that brood for the next season is inside your tree right now. Those eggs are feeding on that fungi.
Well-
That's what.
Is that the one that produces the frass on
Yes.
the outside?
It looks like they call them
little
toothpicks.
Toothpicks on the
coming
outside.
out of the stem.
And
Yes.
weird
we
looking.
compost a lot of dead trees and shrubs, right? But we don't compost those things. We put those in the dumpster and get them out of here. So
set them on fire. It is their neighbor's tree, so I don't think they can go over and dig them up. So they were asking, is there any way for them to protect their trees?
So what I've read for the nurserymen that are out in the field having to deal with this is an application of permethrin on the stems of the plant. Okay, and this is a something you have to do before it happens. So you're already too late if you haven't done it yet. Okay, so they're already flying. The ambrosia beetles are flying right now. That's their stage they're in.
They're very hard to see. Also.
Very hard to see. They're small. You don't notice them until you notice the pinprick holes or the frass coming out of the plant. So, but if you get a preventative, roughly early March to mid-March, a couple different applications of permethrin. That's the active ingredient. It's a synthetic pyrethrin that you put on the stem. If you get that coating on there first, that'll be your best for preventing ambrosia beetle because it is a killer of trees. It's awful.
Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Earth Mix, featuring Garden Premium Topsoil Blend. This essential mix includes Tennessee subsoil, supernatural organic compost, humic acid, and mycorrhizal fungi to create a truly living soil. Garden topsoil is perfect for establishing raised, edible, and ornamental garden beds, as well as for planting trees, shrubs, and other landscape plants. Bulk and super sack options available. Visit earthmix.net to discover their entire line of soils and amendments and helpful blog posts. Success begins at the ground level when you use EarthMix garden products. Let's have fun with this.
What's in bloom?
With Austin.
Hey, things are blooming, as you've noticed, around town. Lots of things. Let's start with the perennials, okay? Tyler, do you want to throw up the first picture, and then we'll do the last one at the end? Do yours that you showed last night. Let's talk a big shout-out, Bridget, who works here in perennials, one of her favorite plants, Amsonia.
So good.
Look at it. Look at it.
Look at that.
Full bloom blue. That's a light blue, too. That's not even purple, y'all. That is blue, and it is money. Fall color on that plant is outstanding, too. If you're not growing Amsonia, you should. It thrives in full sun, hot spot, dry soil, doesn't matter. Put it in the wet, it doesn't matter either. Like across the street at Great House, they've got it in their rain garden out front. What a good plant. Amsonia, you ought to be growing it. Hey, Caroline told me about her lily of the valley in her perennial bed.
It's looking stunning.
Little cuties, little white blooms coming up. They look great. Dicentra, the bleeding heart, still going, looking good. Irises are state flower, all sorts of colors and shades. My
I
God.
get to see a new iris photographed every day.
I know.
Renee is all about them. She look at this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, another iris. But yeah, you're seeing all the colors around right now. Not just the old purple. You're seeing yellows, all sorts of
Pink
them. Just
ones.
look around. Yep, irises are everywhere. Heuchera is going off right now. Not the most showy thing, but it's doing it. Whatever. Salvia just started this week. Dianthus, the little ground cover that we know, is blooming like crazy. My Baptisia is still going beautiful. God, I love Baptisia. Y'all know me. Catmint looking great. Hey, let's talk about the vines. Clematis popping this week. Wisteria for Josh still going this week. And Crossvine for Caroline, of course.
Thank you.
She loves it, going off like crazy. Let's go to the shrubs. The rhodies and azaleas, y'all. Rhododendron. Oh, when it blooms, when it blooms. That's all I got to say. Weigela. Do you even know what Weigela is? I call it Wiggles just because. It's an old school shrub, kind of arching, gets big, flowers though continuously. I mean, a really long blooming plant, old school. We still sell Weigela. It's looking good. Wild roses, y'all. The roses in the woods. I don't know if you've seen these big rambling shrubs. You don't know what they are. They're roses, and they're wild, and they are going off. All right. Regular roses. Got a shout out to a customer yesterday. She showed me her climbing rose. Which one is it? Can't remember at the moment. Zephyrin Druin, that's what it is. Zephyrin, a big climbing rose on a wall. She showed me, she was so happy about it. She came out like 3 weeks ago and she was like, I don't know what's wrong. I don't think it's going to bloom. She was all nervous about it. And then she came in yesterday, showed me full show. Wow. Full show, y'all. Beautiful. Hey, all the viburnums. It's been a viburnum year. Man, the double files, the big Chinese snowballs on these large shrubs you're seeing.
And they've lasted and lasted and lasted.
So long. It's been so good. I just noticed the petal drop, though, of the snowball bush and this white litter beneath the plant. I almost like that more than even when it's in full show. It's just fantastic. Hey, dogwood's still going. Dependable. Dogwoods are so good. You know what's a new one this week? Do y'all even know about it? American Fringe Tree. Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody loves that one.
Dianthus.
Yep, they don't even know what it is until it starts blooming. And then they bring a picture into me and they say, hey, what is this? I want one. It's great. Gosh, they're so good. They're so good. Usually shrubby in the full sun. If you put them in the shade, they end up stretching and looking more like trees. So, American Fringe Tree, look it up. You don't even know. Okay, locust trees. Call me redneck, but I love a locust. They're blooming right now. Little pendulous white blooms. They smell good. Hey, a weird one for you that you probably don't know either. The Carolina silverbell.
Alicia.
There you go. They bloom simultaneously to when they leaf out. So they've got a two-tone effect right now. You don't see very many of them, but whenever you do, you're like, hey, that's cool. I like that. It's cute. And then let's go to the compound leaf plants that are, the horse chestnuts, the bottle brush buckeye, and the red buckeye. Tyler, do you have another pick of that coming up soon? I hope. Look at that. Hey, y'all, that's in my yard.
Awesome.
Look at that.
That is...
Tucked up close to the woods. Shane Burton got me that. Shout out, Shane. Thank you for that. A red buckeye. They are fantastic. I love that plant. They send all their growth out all at once. It just explodes. It's amazing. Okay? So those are all the good ones that are blooming, and then we've got the nasty ones. Bush honeysuckle, Paulonia tomentosa, the empress tree, still going, and the black cherries. They throw some weeds around.
Yes.
Yep.
That's what's in bloom.
Wow. That was great.
Hey, you know
so
what?
quick.
Here's another little quick feature. The big thing I noticed this week is not flowers, but it's foliage. And when you see crepe myrtles, this week they pushed the foliage.
They did. It cracked.
I mean, they just, it's like it emerged all at once.
Yeah.
So, this is fairly early in the season, but that just shows you what a week of temperatures in the mid to upper 80s will do for that plant in particular, because they are all about the heat.
And I'm always amazed by that. I mean, it's like that whenever it heats up, like David just said, what happens? Like, things happen quick when they get that response. It's crazy. And I was going to talk about too, not in bloom, but all of our conifers around town. Hey, if you've got like dwarf blue spruce, or if you've got arborvitae,
all the
new growth is so vivid and so vibrant.
Right. It's almost better than flowers.
It can be. Like, seriously.
My cobra spruce.
The Norway spruce? Yes, the Norways are stunning right now.
And if you've got green giant arborvitae, you can stand outside and watch them grow. They grow so fast. Once they're an established plant, they really are wonderfully effective, either a single specimen or a screening plant. And on the north property line, we've got a row of them planted that were about 3 feet tall 5 years ago now. And now how tall are they now, Austin?
What, 12 probably? Approaching 14?
At least 12.
Approaching 14.
And by the time we get to the end of this growing season, they'll be pushing 14, 15 feet.
That's liable to happen before we end the show.
It might. Just might.
That's right. Speaking of fast-growing things, another thing I noticed is a lot of bamboo got whacked this year, like with those zero temps, just like last year. The topmost growth of bamboo just turned brown, tan, look awful. We've had question about it, like, is my stuff dead? Lord, no. So it's already sent its swords up, is what I call them, and they're like 6 foot tall already from the earth. So bamboo's returning.
It's coming back.
You can become bamboozled rather quickly as a result.
Hey, some people are bamboozled about their crepe myrtles. So let's talk about those. We've already touched on it a little bit. We got quite a few questions, but a lot of folks are asking, their crepe myrtles aren't leafing out from the top, but they have root suckers. What does this mean, and what should they do?
Well, it means that your plant's not dead, which crepe myrtles never are technically really dead here, because they always will come back from the ground. If you're not seeing it from the tops yet, like David just said, this past week, they started kind of cracking. So maybe give it another week or two, but if you're not seeing it cracking from the top and only from the ground, then unfortunately you have to remove those old sticks and let the new stuff come out. And then you've got a shrub for this season.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
It'll still bloom off that wood. It'll be a shrub bloomer.
That's a great thing about things that flower off of the current season's wood, is that you don't lose the flowers; they're still going to be there. But if you have bought, say, if it was a tree form, a single stem, or standard as we call it in the industry, and it got killed back, well, then you don't have a standard anymore. You've got a bush form.
And that's okay.
I actually prefer the bush form in the crepe.
Some people do.
I really do.
I think it's a very natural, nice-looking form of
Red rockers are amazing every year, and they're partying this week. I mean, they really did.
Yeah, mine's growing fast. We got a live question in. They said, I don't know if I got my email photo sent in, but I bought a snowball last year and it is blooming. Half of it has traditional snowballs and the other half is lace cap flowers.
Cool.
Is it reverting or is it two plants?
Two plants. It's probably.
Austin looks so stumped.
And I'll share this little bit of information from a grower's perspective. And we buy plants from a lot of different growers from all over the country, actually. Most plants, flowering shrubs, and many other things are grown from what they call a multi-stick cutting. They will, if you had like a 3 or 5 gallon size, you might have 3 plants in there. And that works great because they grow up fast. They're going to be bushy anyway. However, occasionally something that's not intended gets planted in there. And when they're dormant, you can't tell the difference. They look the same. But so what you've got, you can view it one of 2 ways. You can view it as something that was not intended to be there, or you have something special that nobody else has got.
Sounds special.
Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Spring is at our doorstep, and if your plans involve improving your landscape or starting a garden, then Bates Nursery is the essential place for what you need. They offer the largest selection of plants in the Southeast, from unique flowers and trees to tropicals, roses, houseplants, and native plants. Bates Nursery's 92 years of serving Nashville gives them unparalleled experience in stocking the plants that perform best for your home. Their friendly staff of horticulture experts are ready to assist you with your gardening needs. Located minutes from downtown Nashville in beautiful Whites Creek, Tennessee, just off Briley Parkway at exit 19. Shop inventory online before you visit at batesnursery.com. Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932. All right, bought ferns through local FFA. 2 do not look good. Will they grow back if I cut them back? Yes, I give my ferns haircuts all the time, especially if you're talking about Kimberly Queen, Boston ferns. If I overwinter mine this time of year, actually a couple weeks ago, I would have just given it a haircut all the way down, fertilized it, water it really well, and they always flush back and look even better. So I say do it. Ground cover near sidewalk, no sedum.
All right. Creeping phlox. Creeping phlox.
There it is.
How about you love dianthus? Which one do you grow?
It's not firewitch, it's Bath's pink. I was thinking it was firewitch all year, and then when it bloomed, I was like, it's not. It's that softer pink that I like even more than firewitch.
I'm using colored mulch and just letting it go.
Really?
Yeah,
there's so many kinds of sedum, though, that I hate.
Really?
I would hate to eliminate
Don't
that.
be hating on
entire
sedum.
group.
That's true.
There's a lot to choose from.
Creeping Tom.
Oh, that one's great. I actually planted some this year.
Yeah. Mine's pretty right now. It's just waking up blooms. I'm going to talk about it next week probably because it's not full show yet, but it's a good little plant for that scenario.
Yeah, get one. All right, my peony has lots of lush growth, but no buds yet. Should I move it in the fall? I mean, mine's completely budded up.
I was about to say, that's weird.
That is weird. It's not blooming yet. I mean, if you just planted it, they tend to just throw 1 bloom and then 3 the next year and then keep
You're
on
right. Yeah,
multiplying.
I mean, if it's somewhat new, that would make sense, or if it's in a heavy shade or something. But they should be budded up by now. But like Caroline said, if it's just young, it may just not do it this year for you. Okay, so
maybe move it if it's in shade.
If it's in the shade, I'd move it. Yeah, I mean, get it in more sun. But it may just be young.
Wait till fall.
Wait till fall.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the time to do it.
Caroline, you see Gary's, Mike Keeley's question about blue arrow junipers because he wants to come and get some. Is there anything he should know about them?
You should know that we don't have any at the moment.
Oh, well, that is good
We
to know.
actually don't carry blue arrow unless you special order it. We've had a lot of issues with blue arrow juniper over the years.
It is a scopulorum,
Yeah.
is it not? And that doesn't mean anything to most people other than that is a family of juniperous or junipers that is... They don't really like the humidity. They get a lot of fungal problems here, and
he was going to use them as a screen. Do you have another suggestion, mon frere?
Blue point juniper we sell a lot of. That's a really good one for around here. Grows like a weed really fast.
Or Taylor juniper, which is a sport of a native. Taylor is a eastern red cedar cultivar, which grows very columnar. So if you're looking for that growth habit and you don't mind it being green instead of the blue cast, that's an excellent choice, and it'll do wonderfully here.
There's a bunch of good junipers nowadays. There's a new one called Gin Fizz.
Oh, I like that
Gin
one.
Fizz.
Yeah.
That thing looks cool.
It's very tight.
Yeah, they sheared it, so it is
but
real
it's
tight.
still just like...
I know, it does look like that.
Speaking
I got
of
a feeling
shearing,
it's going to flush.
Speaking of shearing, I've noticed that Monrovia started shearing their bigger arborvitaes in containers, which is a really nice formalized look for them. So, if you're looking for an idea about how you can treat those, or you want to plant some that have a more formal look, I really thought it looked great. I mean, it's a really excellent looking.
Oh, and they're about to just bust. I mean, that's what's going to be great about them. They've been pruned super tight, so they're very much a triangle pyramid right now. When they bust and poof, it's going to be just green, lush green atop the whole thing. It's going to be great.
So much green. All right. Ficus triangularis is all of a sudden having fruit, healthy or trying to reproduce because it's not healthy. I would say it's still healthy. Mine fruits every year, but it's usually because it loses a lot of leaves in the winter. This is very typical of this type of ficus. They like to shed their leaves and then they'll reflesh. I'd say it's still healthy, but what I do is just remove all those berries. They're not edible. They're poisonous. Don't eat them. Don't feed them to anybody. And you don't want your plant sending all of its energy to those because there's really no reason for you to have them. So what I do is just go ahead and remove them so it can send that energy to the leaves, start pushing out new growth because Ficus triangularis is starting to pop off and looking really good.
Every plant has X amount of energy to push, and then it'll devote that to either fruit production or flower production or foliage production. And the things that tend to be repeat bloomer type things have to spread those resources over a longer period of time. So when you see things that are repeat blooming type things, you probably don't get at any one time the profusion of flowers that you might get on just a single flowering type. So there is no free lunch. The energy has to come from somewhere. So.
Yes, it does.
You know what's funny about that, before we move on real quick, is that my brother-in-law sent a picture of his fiddle leaf fig yesterday, and it's funny that you just said what you said because it's so true. It happens every year. His has shed like 3 or 4 leaves, and they look pretty bad. He's still got 2 leaves that are left on it, and the terminal bud that is still green with that black sheath around it. And I just told him, don't worry, man. That's what happens with fiddle leaf fig. It drops this time of year to get rid of that old stuff, and it's about to regrow. So it's doing okay. If that's what's happening at your house, don't freak out.
Don't panic.
I mean, if you're going to freak out, do it about something else.
Yeah. I give my, I actually have a couple of fiddle leaf figs, but mine do shed their leaves a little bit in the winter, which isn't completely ideal for that particular ficus. But it happens in the winter with mine. I'm really bad at watering. But what I do is put mine outside, give it a good cut. I remove all of my leaves, prune it back, and y'all, the reflesh on fiddle leaf figs, the Ficus lyrata, is really, really nice. So if you're not happy with how yours looks, people are always like, mine grows, but it's getting really leggy. Just cut it. This is the time of year to do it.
Don't leave any foliage on it at all.
No.
Just
I don't.
Cut it
I
back
just
to,
cut it.
Totally.
And when it breaks out of
branches,
yes.
but yeah. I hear that music.
Oh, man. There it is.
Real
That
quick,
was another rapid hour.
Rapid one. Real quick, Diane says that she has that rose, which I'm assuming is the week's one. She suggests cutting the buds off before you plant it.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that. If you, I mean, I'm into enjoying the blooms, so I don't know that I'm necessarily doing that, but I know a lot of people that do. I do cut off all my like petunia blooms before I ever plant them. I will say that.
But that's a fast growing
Yeah,
animal,
exactly.
So
Yeah.
It'll leave it back.
well, more questions next week, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Hey, folks, it is a tradition. It's Saturday morning at 8 o'clock.
That's right.
Central Daylight or Central Standard Time from Nashville, Tennessee, right here from Bates Nursery and Garden Center in the Green Room Studios. We appreciate you. So, folks, like, share, let your friends and neighbors know about us because we want to come back for you and help you out if you got a thing and give you some praise because it's a proud or a problem is going to become a.
Yeah.
Hey, Pop, you offer that?
Yeah, Pop.
Pop, you Pop. I'm Pop.
That's
Okay.
it.
Hey, for everybody here at Gardening Inside Out, once again, we thank you for participating. Watch and listen to the podcast during the week, and come back and see us next Saturday morning for more Gardening Inside Out.
Come get a rose.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning into the Gardening Inside Out podcast. If you're looking for more information or more from your hosts, don't forget that we have a live Saturday morning broadcast, 8 a.m. Central Time on YouTube and Facebook. You can also follow us on our Instagram channel. That's @Gardening Inside Out for more posts, reels, and in-depth dives to topics and things we've discussed on the show. If our content resonates with you, consider giving us a follow, like, and subscription on all of our social media pages. See you next time.